Welcome back to my random ass channel that I'm surprised anyone watches these days. But this is where I talk about all things NASCAR, review the races, and just talk about controversial topics of what people are saying about the package, other things that they love to complain about in this toxic fan base these days. Because no one's ever satisfied, and this weekend was no different. And I don't know where that came from. It's like a scream. I don't know where that came from, but another race come and gone. We just went through Memorial Day weekend. There were some controversial comments made about the tradition of the cars coming down pit road, stopping halfway through the race onto pit road, and doing a moment of silence. People were getting all butthurt for some reason. They didn't do this people didn't complain last year about this, but somehow this year it's a big thing to complain that it's too political, and supporting our troops is too political, and showing any kind of support for America these days is too political. You can't say shit about supporting America and having shown any patriotism for our fallen soldiers and supporting our veterans or just the military in general. It's the society today is just has a warped sense of reality, and how people think cops are bad and military it's just out to kill people and shit like that. And it's very very draining to, and makes my stomach hurt to know that people think that we shouldn't be supporting the military or supporting our fallen heroes who sacrificed everything, their lives, just so we can watch racing or any kind of sports events, or just enjoy life as it is right now, just the freedoms that we have. Little to no freedoms right now that we have because of our current administration, but I'm not getting into that. But racing. People say this should have been done during pre race, but pre race goes on long enough as it is, and adding another thing onto pre race is just going to extend it out longer, and the broadcast has only a certain amount of time on the channel that they're broadcasting on, and it's just all about timing. The race lasted over 4 hours. I feel like that's I'm not sure if that's long or short for the Coke 600, but it's kind of in the middle. I didn't feel like it was that long at all, to be honest. It just felt like it went by really, really fast. The first two stages went by really, really fast for me. It helps that not a lot of cautions happened. Not a lot of wrecks and I'm not looking for that. I'm just saying there was just no incidents on track all that much, and at least during the 600 there wasn't much. But overall, I thought the race was really, really good. Was it fantastic? No, but it was another big day for Hendrick. Keep showing their strength on their home track, North Carolina, Charlotte. So in their backyard, they're literally I don't even know how far, but they're pretty damn close to that racetrack. And they were on the verge of breaking a Cup Series wins. Sorry about the screaming. My nephew's doing therapy right now. So, Hendrick was on the verge of breaking Petty Enterprises all-time Cup win races in the entire series, and which they did, but with Larson. I was just so freaking annoyed that it was Larson instead of Bowman or Byron or Chase, for that matter. Chase was laps away from winning the Coke 600 last year, and it broke my heart, and it still breaks my heart to this day that he came so close again well, close, I mean, like, he finished second again for the second year in a row in, like, the one of the longest race of the season. Like, he finished in the crown jewels, like, Daytona 500. He finished second. That's the best he's ever finished in this Daytona 500 in 6 seasons. And this race, he finished second again. And it's, oh, I can't, I just, it's infuriating. And it's like, but this team is just going through so much this year, and it's like getting so much hate for no freaking reason. And I'll get into that. But Hendrick Motorsports is flexing some muscle this year, and it helps. Again, I keep repeating myself. Chad freaking Knaus is the mastermind behind all of this, because he has the hands-on, the competition side of things as a vice president of competition for Hendrick Motorsports. The guy's a freaking genius. He was a genius on top of the crew, like, pit box, and made his way into, like, a leadership role, which we needed, honestly. I feel like this is what we needed at Hendrick Motorsports. So I say we, have, like, I'm just like a die-hard Hendrick Motorsports fan through and through, no matter who's the lineup is. I'll never like Kyle Larson. You can't convince me otherwise. I didn't like him before he entered HMS. And no matter how many wins he gets, I still not like him. Just let me have that. He's talented. He's a great driver. Well, good driver, but people are like, he's the greatest and he's the best thing to happen to Hendrick. Like, no, he's not. 2 wins doesn't make him the greatest thing to happen to Hendrick Motorsports. Let's just say that right now. Chase has a championship and 12 wins to his name at Hendrick Motorsports through 6 seasons. So, like, 5.5, but 6 seasons with the same crew chief, with, like, the same crew. And now it's, like, getting to a little bit of a controversial issue here. His spotter, Eddie DeHunt, is suspended indefinitely from being Chase's spotter. And Trey Poole, I want to believe that's his name, is Chase's cousin and his new spotter for the remainder of the season, because of legal things happening with Eddie DeHunt, and he was arrested. And I won't get, like, further into that because we don't know the whole story. People will make assumptions that he's such a shitty person, but we can't say that he's a crappy person for whatever happened, because we don't know what happened. So I'll pray for him and pray for his entire family, because whatever he's going through right now is probably not the easiest thing to go through. Whatever it is, we just need to lay some hands on him and pray for him and his family. Whatever happens. But Chase is already getting enough, like, crap as it is with his crew, and no matter what, he'll be in the top 5. People like still shit on his pick. Like, oh, they're atrocious. They've been atrocious the entire time. Like, and yet stats say his pit crew is like top 5 or top 2 behind Harvick's pit crew this season. Let's just say that right now. They're not atrocious. You just think they're atrocious because Chase isn't constantly winning races this season. He won last week, like, before the 600. Apparently that's not enough for them, because they're like, oh, they're still shitting on his pit crew. It's like, what's the point? It's like, you got people act like they can do so much better in the pits than the athletes and professionals do. They're not atrocious. No pit crew is flawless and perfect every single week. Even championship drivers have flaws and issues and mistakes that can happen on pit road. Kyle Busch has issues on pit road. Hamlin, Harvick, Logano, like all the championship drivers, they're not perfect. The pit crews are not perfect. They screw up. Drivers speed on pit road or there's incidents that happen on pit road, it's none of the crew's fault, or the pit crew just has a bad day and then that happens. It's not like they're a bad pit crew. So we can't just say like Chase's pit crew is atrocious when they're not. They're actually the ones who got Chase to the championship with fast cars and being competitive at the right time of the season. And right now they're firing on all cylinders because they've been racking up top 5, top 10 since Kansas. Since Kansas. He has a win in the bank. He's locked in. He has a chance to win this weekend at Sonoma. It's not one of his better tracks of road courses, but with how much more experience he has on road courses, this wouldn't be any different if he goes out, dominates, or just has a really good day. Because Hendrick as a whole is just firing all cylinders, and everyone's looking at them to be like, what are they doing differently? They're so fast, they're so strong. In the 600, that looked like they were going for another first through 4 finish, but Kyle Busch, of course, fucked that up and screwed up that second time happening this season. But all Hendrick Motorsports finished in the top 5. First, second, fourth, and fifth. That is wild to me. How strong they have been. Like, this is the third week in a row Hendrick Motorsports have won a race or has finished first or second, or just in the top 5 in general. Dover, they did the first through 4th finish with Bowman winning and Larson being second, Chase third, and Byron fourth. Last week, Chase won and Larson came in second. And this week, Larson won, which I can't stand because he flat out dominated that race. Once you got out to the lead, you were just like, see ya, bye-bye. It was just a reminder of like when Truex dominated the race, but all Hendrick cars led laps in the 600, which you don't see very often from any team, like every single car from that team leading a lap or laps. Because all of them led multiple laps. Larson just killed everyone that day, leading close to 300 laps or so. I don't even know how much, but it was gone. He swept every single stage. Chase ran in the top 5 all day long, all day. Restarts have been our weak point. It doesn't matter what lane we've been in. It's like these our weak point, but we managed to make it up. We had long run speed at times during that race. Like early in the race, it looked like we had long run speed because we were catching up to the leader. And that battle between Larson and Chase for the lead was insane. Because no matter if their teammates or not, they were full send. Let's go. He was battling with his teammates all day, especially with Byron near the end of the race, and Kyle Busch getting into the mix. So it was awesome to see how strong this entire organization has come. Because once Dale Jr. retired, Casey Kane left. I know people will say he wasn't a great driver, but he was actually a decent driver with Hendrick Motorsports. He won races. He might have not been a championship caliber driver, but he won races, and he was really good at what he did. I stand by Casey Kane because he was one of my favorite drivers, and I'm glad he's doing what he's doing now, in the dirt world, in the World Outlaws, and how much success he has in the dirt racing area of motorsports. So I'm happy for him. He looks like he's doing very, very well. So, Dale Earnhardt, Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, ever since all of those guys kind of moved up and retired or whatever, doing their own thing, it's just been a different atmosphere at Hendrick. They kind of struggled a little bit. Even while Jimmy was there, they were kind of struggling performance-wise. Even though Chase was started winning in 2018, he was pretty much the only Hendrick car that was performing at a top level and winning races multiple each year. And then when Byron got his win, Bowman got his win, and then it just started snowballing from there. Just the progression of how much they got better. Um, Even though I hate that Larson's a part of the team, he is a big asset to the team because their performance has gotten way, 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 way better. Um, Even though he rubs me the wrong freaking way and always will with his cockiness and his attitude. He brings his talent in, and I'll only say this once, he was gifted this ride at Hendrick. No one else was going to give him a ride because of how toxic his energy is and how toxic of a person he is. I will still say that to this day. I don't care how much hate I get for it. I've never liked Larson and never will. Even before the incident that happened last year, he brought that upon himself. I have no sympathy towards him. He always says something stupid at some point. And that's that. So, end of that rant. This is like the best crop of drivers Hendrick has had since like Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and like even like Mark Martin. Like that was the lineup. That was the lineup. But I don't think they were like at the same performance level as Hendrick is right now. Like the two most dominant drivers within Hendrick was Jeff and Jimmy. That was it. Because they have majority of those wins at Hendrick came from those two. 93 and 83 wins. That's a huge number. Like they were the ones dominating at Hendrick and the sport in general. Because no one could touch them. Like 11 championships between the two of them. 11. 11. That's just unheard of. It's crazy. But just seeing the progression Hendrick has made over the last couple of seasons. Actually, last season, yes, they won the championship with Chase. He won 5 races. And that was amazing. Bowman and Byron won their individual races. Now Bowman won twice this year. Larson has won twice. All of Hendrick has wins this year, which is so amazing to see. They have the most wins so far in the series, organization wise, and Chevy as a whole has the most wins because of Hendrick. Hendrick holds the title right now for like Chevy wins, all the Chevy wins this season. But I wouldn't sleep on RCR because they have been consistently running well. They both the cars at RCR finished in the top 10 for the 600, which is not surprising because Austin Dillon won this Coke 600 back in 2017 as his first career win. And that's wild. And then he went on to win the Daytona 500 soon after that. So I wouldn't sleep on RCR. I feel like one of those two will get a win this year, even though I'm not a big fan of Reddick because of his poor choice of words sometimes. But I feel like Dillon or Reddick will get a win this year at some point. But and people like thought, oh, Truex was going to be the favorite in this race. Truex. But he was like saying nowhere to be found. He had like issues at the beginning of the race. And the only big contender against the Hendrick cars that night was Kyle Busch. But he didn't have anything to go and compete towards the front with them, like go for the lead or anything like that. So, SHR again has been a non-existent this season. Chase Briscoe finished in the top 10 last week, but I don't know where he finished this week. But they just been non-existent, and it's very, very sad to see that group just kind of crumble this season. But overall, I thought it was a good race. People are, again, complaining about the package. I'm like, no matter what package these guys run, you guys will never be satisfied. It's just people complain just to complain. People said like everything like patriotic that they did during that. It's like, oh, it was racist. Oh, it was unnecessary. Like the moment of silence crap should have happened during. It wasn't crap, but they're saying it was crap because they're like, oh, it should have been done during pre-race. I'm like, how? Like, realize this has just been tradition that they've been doing for such a long time. Why would they veer away from it just because you guys can't just be normal human beings and just grasp the concept of just go with the flow of this race. The tradition stands. Stop whining about every little goddamn detail NASCAR does or doesn't do, and complaining that NASCAR handed a win to Chase when Chase was just up there at the right time because of strategy in a fast car. It's not anyone's fault that he won. He got up there because, one, he had a fast car. He was outpacing the field. Nobody handed him a win. If that was the case and you people thought it was like rigged and it was just like a handout, then where's Dale Jr.? Dale Jr.'s like all these wins for Dale Jr. Where's the championships for Dale Jr.? Hands down. Where's all these things that you assume the most popular driver is gonna get? Like, where was Chase's first win? Like back in his rookie season or his sophomore season, like those opportunities that NASCAR apparently didn't give to him was a handout. People only complain when it comes to the most popular driver. That's it. If it was anyone else, no one would be complaining about the rain shortened race. I'm like, thank God it's over. It was so dangerous and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it wasn't dangerous at all. You guys just love to complain. And the person says, I need help because on my Twitter, I like made a comment because one of, like a motor, like another, a guy like who races like motorcycles or some shit like that, passed away because he succumbed to injuries from a really bad accident during a race or whatever. And like, I feel for him. I'm heartbroken that anyone loses their life during like any kind of like sporting event or whatever. I had no way being disrespectful towards that. I was just gearing that particular incident towards a certain driver who said that he felt he's unsafest he's ever been in a car. You're safe in your car. Did you die? Did you get hurt? No. Your hood like was smashed in. You walked away from it. If you were that unsafe, you wouldn't have been talking about how unsafe you were to the camera. He was the only one complaining about being unsafe. But yet, a guy passes away from a really, really bad accident where he doesn't have a roll cage or Hans device or whatever. He just has the pads that he has on his body and a helmet. That's it. He's the most unsafe he will ever be, just being exposed without all four wheels on the ground. He had two. So please explain to me how you felt the most unsafe you ever been when someone else loses their life in probably a much, much more dangerous sport than you're doing right now. I'm not saying NASCAR isn't dangerous. It is. It's risky what you guys do. But I just feel like what this guy was doing, far more dangerous than just your hood getting smashed in on a road course. Just saying. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the guy who passed away. I'm just trying to make a point to a driver saying he felt unsafe when he was like the safest he can ever be in a car. That's all I gotta say about that. But the Coke 600, come and gone, good race. 3 of the 400 cars are now in the top 4 when it comes to overall points this season, the regular season, and within the top 10 of like playoff points. We're closing on Denny Hamlin's like gap of like his large points. It's not very large anymore. It's about 70 something points now between him and Larson. And Chase is just 92. Remember how Hamlin's like points gap was like over 100? Now it's a little less than that because of all the Hendrick cars right there. Wild. Wild to see. But we're heading to Sonoma this weekend for the Cup Series. Truck Series is off this weekend. Xfinity going to Mid-Ohio. So it's going to be a road course filled weekend for both series. So the road course ringers to watch out for again should be shocker Chase, Martin Truex. Heck, watch out for Chase Briscoe. He's good at road courses, so he's secretly good at road courses. So I expect Hendrick to come out firing all cylinders again this weekend because they've just been on a roll. They have 6 wins out of the first 15 races of this season. All 4 drivers have won this season. Joe Gibbs only has 1 driver with multiple wins, with 3 of their drivers winning. Hamlin still has yet to win. Harvick is yet to win this season, which is weird to say. We're like over halfway through the regular season, and they have yet to win. That's weird. It just shows how tough it is this year. But the young guns are like flexing some muscle this year. Like besides like Truex winning, the young guns have been flexing muscle this year, flexing it over at Hendrick, just saying. And then Christopher Bell. Only 2 guys, not 2, I guess there's 3 guys that have won this year that are older than the Bell and all of Hendrick. Truex, McDowell, and Busch. Other than that, the young guns have been firing off this year, and I'm excited for the future of the sport because of these young drivers are so freaking talented and so good. So keep an eye out for Hendrick this weekend because they're going to fire off. I just feel it. But other than that, the controversy of like all weekend about the ceremony, the moment of silence, just really irked me. So I don't have much to say about that. It's just society. It's just gotten so bad this year. Like no one complained about this before until this year, and it's really very sad. Saying it's political and shouldn't do it, and I'm like, yeah, let's stop being patriotic and celebrating and supporting our military and those that we lost, so we can live in the country that we do, and we can enjoy the freedoms of watching this race happen before us for entertainment. Yeah, God forbid we ever support those who fought and died for our country. Like my parents, they're former military. So I take that to heart. Like I haven't lost anyone like in the line of duty, like when they were serving, but a lot of people in my family, former military, are still in the military right now. All branches. Navy, Marines, Air Force, you name it, we got it in our family. So, you disrespect my country like that and say shit like that, I take that personally. So, it is what it is. And the comments made by our vice president about enjoy the long weekend, remember the meaning behind that long weekend that we got to enjoy. No mention of Memorial Day or shit like that. It was just enjoy the long weekend. Yeah. That's your vice president. Enjoy that. Because she's not mine.